I think the bye week probably is a good time for these guys. Philly, maybe they'll have a chance to get these receivers back and kind of and Lane Johnson and get some of their key players back on offense. But it's a challenge. Look, they've lost 10 of their last 13 games. So when you sit there and say, well, they're one of the best teams in the league, I don't know, being 3-10, that's kind of a stretch if you look at what's happened recently. But they do have a lot of good players, and they have a good team. I'm not saying they're not a good team. I'm just saying they haven't done very well lately. So maybe this bye week's a good time for them to reset. Certainly, they've got to play better defense than what they've been playing. They just gave up way too many points too quickly. They're still turning the ball over too much.
What? What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
Bam! Well said by what Bill Belichick had to say about Nick Sirianni and the Eagles. This is Sports Guy Talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about Bill Belichick blasting the Eagles for being underachievers. Despite the Eagles having a stacked offense on paper, their offense has not been that good this season compared to other teams in the NFL. With the Eagles having a 2-2 record, it now begs the question of how much longer Nick Sirianni will be on the Eagles as their head coach. Before I say anything else, though, I want to present you guys with the topic question. So, here it is. Will this be Nick Sirianni's final season on the Eagles? Yes, Nick Sirianni has lost the locker room of the Philadelphia Eagles. Players clearly don't respect Nick Sirianni, and I believe a lot of the fan base in Philadelphia does not respect Nick Sirianni as well. We know Nick Sirianni can be an extremely intense coach. However, Nick Sirianni has been avoiding accountability when his teams lose games. Obviously, you look at how the Philadelphia Eagles have been struggling ever since they started out last season with a 10-1 record. Jalen Hurts was playing excellent football. However, after their 10-1 start, the Philadelphia Eagles had a monumental collapse. They finished the season with 11 wins. Yes, they get into the playoffs, but they essentially get blown out in the wild card round to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nick Sirianni, as a result of that, ends up firing his offensive coordinator and his defensive coordinator. You look at how the Philadelphia Eagles defense has been made of Swiss cheese. They've been getting torched essentially every game. Despite all the talent that they have on their defense has not been good whatsoever. They're spending a lot of money on defense to do what? To do nothing. That's what they're doing. And you look at how the Philadelphia Eagles are allowing passers to go for over 300 yards each and every week, with the exception of week 3 against the Saints. And that's because of the fact that their secondary is absolutely trash. Their head coach is undisciplined, which tells me the players are probably undisciplined. And if you're undisciplined in the secondary, guys are going to be getting open before you know it. I remember Matt Patricia and Brian Johnson got scapegoated for having horrible units last season. But obviously, those two guys weren't the main problem in Philadelphia. The main problem in Philadelphia has been Nick Sirianni. Look, am I saying Nick Sirianni is a bad head coach? Of course not. Nick Sirianni, he's been to a Super Bowl. Obviously, you got to give Nick Sirianni credit for that. However, if the Philadelphia Eagles want to take the next step, they got to hire a guy that will understand the X's and O's better than Nick Sirianni. You look at how the Eagles, they use less motion than almost any other team in the NFL. If you're not motioning guys at the line of scrimmage, it's going to be very difficult for quarterbacks to read what the pre-snap coverage is. And obviously, Nick Sirianni has not put Jalen Hurts in a great position to succeed. You can tell Jalen Hurts is starting to lose faith in his head coach. You look at how Jalen Hurts, he's constantly giving Nick Sirianni the side eye, and obviously he fired his friend Brian Johnson. Maybe Nick Sirianni can actually learn how to coach like a proper head coach instead of just saying, okay, let's rely on the talent that we have in order to win our games. Because you look at Nick Sirianni's offenses, the offense is not creative at all. They just basically run the same 5 to 10 plays all game long. They basically just tell Jalen Hurts, okay, go find AJ Brown open, go find Devonta Smith open, go find running lanes, go ahead and scramble. If the play breaks down, go ahead and run the football up the middle. Let me go ahead and do tush push with Jalen Hurts. That's essentially what the Philadelphia Eagles do all game long. They don't really put their players in great positions to succeed, which is a shame because this roster is loaded. They've got Jalen Hurts, they've got Saquon Barkley, they've got AJ Brown, they've got Devonta Smith, they've got Dallas Goedert, they've got Jahan Dotson, they've got all those weapons, and they're still not that great of an offense. And you'll wonder, how in the hell is that happening? It's because Nick Sirianni has not put his players in positions to succeed. And I love what Rex Ryan had to say about Nick Sirianni on Sunday NFL Countdown. I thought what he said about Nick Sirianni was extremely accurate. Roll the film.
I don't understand this guy. He goes in there, he gets questioned about play calling, immediately he gives it one of these deals. And he goes, well, I don't call plays. Like, well, what the hell do? You take the bows when you win, man. You're in there and you know, talking noise to people and all that. How about you take some accountability when your team loses?
There you go, Rex Ryan. Good job for holding Nick Sirianni accountable. That's far more accountability that Rex Ryan showed in that clip compared to what Nick Sirianni has shown for the Philadelphia Eagles during that losing streak. No wonder why Bill Belichick is cooking Nick Sirianni on the Pat McAfee show. Even Bill Belichick said that Nick Sirianni has done a terrible job on the Philadelphia Eagles in recent memory. Yeah, I know he didn't use those words exactly, but that's essentially what he said when he was trashing Nick Sirianni for not putting his players in positions to succeed. Now, Bill Belichick did lie by saying that the Philadelphia Eagles have lost 10 out of the last 13 games. I think he meant to say 7 out of the last 10, at least based on looking at the box scores for the Philadelphia Eagles in their last 10 games. The Philadelphia Eagles have not played a lot of winning football in recent memory, and one has to wonder, why has that happened? They've changed offensive coordinators, they've changed defensive coordinators, they changed the personnel, they upgraded the running back position, and they're still not doing that good this year. And obviously the common denominator is the head coach. And even when Nick Sirianni was a good head coach, are we really sure that was because of Nick Sirianni, or was it because of the loaded roster that he had 2 years ago and the fact that his assistants were awesome? Jonathan Gannon was one of the best defensive coordinators in all of football. The man knew what he was doing on defense, and he was getting those guys to play elite football. Then you look at the offensive coordinator position, they had Shane Steichen calling the plays, and Shane Steichen has done a pretty good job in Indianapolis getting the most out of guys like Gardner Minshew, Joe Flacco, and Anthony Richardson. One has to wonder, how much success did Nick Sirianni actually contribute to? Or was it because of Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon being excellent coordinators? Look, I'm not saying Nick Sirianni is a terrible head coach, but is Nick Sirianni an elite head coach? No. And the Philadelphia Eagles have an elite roster that is ready to win now. Nick Sirianni would be better suited on a rebuilding team. He's not built to coach a contending team. His X's and O's knowledge of the game is extremely limited, and even Bill Belichick realizes that. In fact, if the Philadelphia Eagles hired Bill Belichick in 2025, that would probably be a better move than keeping Nick Sirianni as the head coach in 2025. Also remember that the Philadelphia Eagles locker room is starting to lose faith in Nick Sirianni. You can tell the players don't really respect Nick Sirianni whatsoever. And when you have a guy that constantly ducks accountability at every turn, yeah, you can't be surprised that players are wanting to not respect Nick Sirianni whatsoever. If I'm Nick Sirianni, I'm going up to the podium, I'm taking every ounce of accountability for the shortcomings of the Philadelphia Eagles in recent memory, and I'm changing my entire coaching approach. If he doesn't do that, then expect this to be his final season in Philadelphia. It's really that simple. The only way Nick Sirianni is going to stay on the Eagles this year is if he wins a playoff game this year. Do I believe that's going to happen? It could be a possibility, but I wouldn't necessarily bank on it. It's that simple. So that is why this will be Nick Sirianni's final season on the Eagles, as he has reached his ceiling as a head coach in Philadelphia. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking. Like the video and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I'm gonna shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That will be for the @DustinTran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @DustinTran and that Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @DustinTran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video. Comment down below. Check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.